Our next speaker, Captain Rahul Rai, he is founder of Armour Heavy, who launched his performance wear brand in a highly competitive fashion industry. Captain Rai, you can switch on your video and also start sharing your screen. Captain Rai, are you available here? Puneet sir, will you make him co-host?
Yes, he's there.
Okay.
Sir, need to make him co-host.
Please make him co-host so that he can share his screen. So Captain Rahul Rai is an alumnus of Officers Training Academy Chennai and MDI Gurgaon. He served in the prestigious Armored Corps of Indian Army. After leaving Army in 2006, he joined HCL as corporate HCL in the company's corporate marketing team. Post which he led marketing teams of Fortune 500 brands that include Fiserv, Accenture, and many others. He is a fashion enthusiast, and currently he is full-time dedicated in realizing his vision of building Armour Heavy as India's #1 performance wear brand. So over to Captain Rahul Rai, please.
Thanks a lot, ma'am. I hope you can hear me.
Yeah. Can we have your screen here, please?
Yeah. All right. Can you see the screen?
Yes, yes. You can make it in the presentation mode.
All right, great. So, Sangeeta ma'am, there is a possibility I am in a bad network area. If I do get disconnected, I think it will take 5 minutes to reboot the system. So just cover up for me, give me some cover fire.
Okay,
Thanks a lot
no
for that.
problem, no problem.
All right. So for all the people who are attending this, thanks a lot for listening to us. I am Captain Rahul, and I am presently managing a brand. That's my own startup. I'll be talking about some salient features to do with how I understand marketing, because marketing is a very complex ball game. Whatever a lot of other speakers have said, you need to understand marketing in your own fashion. And if I tell this to every marketing person, being 17 years in the domain of marketing, you need to interpret marketing the way you feel marketing needs to be understood, right? If somebody is telling you how to sell or how to launch a brand, how to interpret certain things in a X fashion, don't listen to them directly, absorb that, but you need to be unique in how you do things. So I'll talk about the unique aspect, how you need to be unique, how you need to understand marketing in your own fashion. The next thing I'll explain to you is what is the digital game all about. Everybody is talking about the digital game. Let's simplify the digital game. It's not very complex. At the back end, yes, people are throwing a lot of jargon, etc. But there needs to be a very nice story how you need to understand the digital game. So I'll help you understand the digital game, how I have understood it, right? And then, of course, there's a case study of Armour Heavy, which is my own brand. So let's jump into what is this whole game about. Now, anytime, and I'm not talking about a career in digital marketing. I'm more talking about how you can actually build a business out of digital marketing. There's a difference. So the past speakers have spoken about how you can develop a career, and I'm not talking about building a career here. I'm talking about how you can actually develop business out of digital marketing. So anytime once you have decent amount of exposure, you work in certain organizations, and you now know that yes, I'm ready to actually go for my own business. The first thing that you need to understand really well, and I'm telling this to you because I strongly feel that the foundation of how you understand marketing should be really strong, right? You need to know the basics first and then jump into the digital game. That's really important. Now, the first thing that a entrepreneur needs to know is, what is my services portfolio? What am I taking to the market? And this is basically, I relate to it as a menu card in a restaurant. What is my menu card? Whether I'm a Russian restaurant, I'll be serving Russian dishes, I'll be serving Indian dishes, or I'm potpourri, I'm selling everything, right? The genesis of a services provider, you need to really nail what is the vision that you hold, what is the product that you're taking to the market. Once you've actually know that, yes, this is what I want to take to the market, the second thing is, what is the services architecture? Now, what is a services architecture? Services architecture is basically the list of services that will take to the market. And the list of services need to be so designed that they are not very complicated. You must have seen there are certain restaurants that sell everything. They are selling Indian, they are selling South Indian, they are selling continental, everything. And it becomes so crazy to manage all these dishes. So what is McDonald's doing today? McDonald's is a very simple menu, and whenever you're feeling hungry, whenever you want to feel good, you say that let's go to McDonald's. I'm not endorsing McDonald's, but they've made things so simple for you to consume, right? The idea of eating, they've made simple. There are some burgers, there are some veg burgers, some non-veg burgers, some fries. They're beautiful. So whenever you have appetite, you quickly go to McDonald's. They quickly fold the burger for you and they go. So they've simplified the services architecture. So to all the upcoming entrepreneurs, I know most of you are students, but this nugget will come in handy maybe 5-6 years down the line when you want to be entrepreneurs. Keep your services architecture very simple. Simple for yourself to manage, simple for other people to consume and understand you, right? Now, on top of the services architecture is the brand architecture. Now, if you have nailed these three things, as an entrepreneur, you've nailed it then. You've already achieved 50% of the battle is won. So what is brand architecture? Brand architecture is built over the services architecture. For example, if you want to have, say, tennis rackets, right? That's one of your portfolios. Then you want to have footballs also in your portfolio. The tennis racket brand architecture will be built over that. And the entire strategy will be different. The entire outreach will be very different. So you need to understand these three things. First is understand what you need to take to the market, understand and simplify the services architecture, and then bake a brand architecture over it. Now, when I say brand architecture, there are two kinds of brand architectures. One is a house of brands and one is a master brand approach. You need to understand this and you'll read more about it. I won't dwell too much deep into it because the science in its own this thing, right? Now, when I say master brand architecture and house of brands, now house of brands is something like a PepsiCo. PepsiCo is a house of brands. So you've got PepsiCo, which is a holding company, and it has so many other brands under it. Unilever has Dove, it has Lux, it has all those good brands that are brands in their own right, right? But they are under one umbrella, which is either PepsiCo or Unilever. These are house of brands. So you, as an entrepreneur, you need to understand whether you will go with that kind of architecture or whether you will go with a single master brand approach. What is a master brand? Even Tata is a house of brands. It has Tata Consultancy Services, it has Tata Motors, it has Tata Energy, it has so many, but we know Tata is Tata, right? So there are certain brands which are a metamorphosed version when they are taken to the market. So you need to understand this entire game before you actually become an entrepreneur. And over this, now things get complex. I've told you how these three things an entrepreneur needs to be really vigilant about. And then you've got a lot of complex things, and let's demystify these complex things as what I have done for my brand. And the key is the 4 Ps that Kotler and Keller gave you. It's really, really important for every entrepreneur to read Kotler and Keller. These are 2 guys you must read, and for marketing people, it is a must. Now let's go to the other slide. Demystifying the jungle that is there, marketing. The thing that you need to understand is brand activation. Once you know that my brand architecture will look like this, my services architecture will look like this, you need to understand how the brand will be positioned, the next brand in the market, and then the aspect of market intelligence. These are 3 very, very important key things. So please note that down. What is brand activation? Brand activation is to do with the naming of the brand. And when you are a digital business, like we are talking about in this seminar, the things get very, very complex because digital properties are hard to manage. They are hard to get. You today go and look for a domain name, you will not find a domain name. It's so hard to find a domain name. www.abc.com, xyz.com, everything is taken. So you need to look for a name which is very unique. You will not be able to get a unique name. If you get a unique name, maybe it is not catchy enough. If it is catchy enough, you will not get a story behind it, because the digital game is saturated. It's so saturated that you will rack your brains to find a good name for your brand. If you do find a good name for your brand, somebody will do a legal suit on you. Hey, this is already taken by me. So it is a very, very complex game. The digital naming terminology, how to name a brand. Once you've named a brand, what is the visual identity of a brand? What is the visual identity you will give them? What is the visual identity that Apple gave its brand? Right? Brand expression. What is the brand expression all about? Brand expression is how the brand typically feels and holds the customer in good steam. How the brand talks to that customer. Coke is a very aggressive marketing brand. Accenture, very aggressive marketing brand. Nike, very strong, aggressive marketing brands, right? So you need to understand that. What is the brand voice? The brand voice is to do with the content writer. So somebody in the webinar spoke about content writers. The content writers fit in the brand voice section. They are all employed in the brand voice section. All the designers are there in the visual identity section. So see, the point is you need to understand the basics really, really well of marketing before you jump into the marketing game. Then you have to actually guard this whole piece that you put together with the brand guidelines. Brand guidelines are so really, really important. It will look similar in all dimensions. It's really, really difficult for you to manage that brand. Then there are things to do with brand engagement and so on and so forth. Let's quickly come to the digital game. Now, to demystify the digital game, let me quickly jump to this slide. Of how I actually did things for my brand. I thought of a vision for my brand and a story for the brand. And I'll talk a little more about that story. I gave a digital identity. I made a go-to-market. So follow these simple steps and you will have a brand identity for yourself. So these are the simple steps that you need to follow to be meaningful and attractive. Then what did I do? I went to format my digital visibility. I did Google listings, I did SEO, I did search engine marketing, I did present myself in all the social media possible. whether it's LinkedIn, whether it's Instagram, whether it's Facebook, etc., etc. I just try to be there everywhere. So it's really, really important that you are present everywhere, because there is an audience that is listening to you everywhere. So you can't miss out on certain things. Then once I was there, I started designing my own website. I did everything myself. So for entrepreneurs, it's so very critical that do everything yourself when you're starting off. Don't try to outsource things to anybody. Have the courage to do everything yourself so that you are in complete control. How to develop a website? Very simple. You first do the content part. You do the wireframing part. Wireframing is nothing but just listing out the menus, etc., that you want in the website. You quickly design the website. There are lot of very easy templates available, like Shopify is there. You can make your website within few hours, right? You can make your website in like flat 1 hour and go live. So I did that myself. I think my internet connection is a little unstable, so I must be breaking up, but I'll go on.
No problem. You can
So
continue.
quickly jumping to how, yeah, so quickly jumping on of how I actually launched Armour Heavy. So when you are launching a brand, there is a preparatory stage. And in this preparatory stage could be like 3 months, it could be 4 months, it could be 6 months, it could be 2 years. It depends upon the appetite of the kind of preparation that you want to do and then launch. But you need to be, when you want to be an entrepreneur, you need to be an implementations person. You cannot be a guy who is just doing preparation and not launching. That's hazardous. And every good entrepreneur is a very good implementation guy, right? So the first thing that an entrepreneur needs to know is that he needs to, or she needs to believe in the vision of what he or she is planning to do. If you are borrowing a vision from somewhere, it's a borrowed vision, it's a borrowed idea. It will always be, you'll be looking outside and not inwards. So believe in the vision when you're doing a business. This is so very, very critical. The next thing is be in charge. You know, a lot of people when I started off said, Rahul, do things like this, listen to us, do. I said, look, as a student, I've listened to my teacher. In my college, I've heard my professor. Then I heard my mom. I heard my parents. I heard my instructor in my army days. In my corporate, I heard my manager. For God's sake, let me be in charge. Be in charge. Fail, that's fine. Fail 1, 2, 3 times, but be in charge. Have the courage to fail. That's fine. And take responsibility of that failure, but be in charge. Take your own decisions. Look at others, listen to others, but take your own decision. Don't be entrepreneurs. Good entrepreneurs are very pig-headed people. They go with that vision. You must have read about Steve Jobs, how pig-headed he was. That I want to design this phone in an X fashion, right? All good entrepreneurs. If you're not pig-headed, if you're not rigid, you're not a good entrepreneur. I'm telling you today. So you hold the idea, be in charge. Don't be afraid to fail. Be an implementations, not a planning guy. You can plan for your life, but you need to be a very good implementations person. You have a small idea, put it in motion, fail, that's fine. You have another idea, put it in motion, fail, fine. The third time you will be successful, right? So be an implementations person. And how you can be an implementations person is do it yourself. If you don't do it yourself and outsource things to others, there you go. It's gone. Your business idea is taken over by somebody else. All right. Now this is how the entire journey of Armour Heavy started off. Idea conceptualization for entrepreneurs, really, really important. I conceptualized the idea in 2018. I identified a gap in the market. I went to doing the brand name and availability on the digital segments, because the brands that I chose, the 20 brands that I chose, were not available on the digital footprint. I just couldn't find them. And if I found them, they were taken by somebody else, right? Then once I had the brand name Armour Heavy with me, I started designing the insignia. Now I started designing the insignia, and I'll talk about, this looks like a Devanagari script, and it also looks like a shield, which is to do with armor. So whenever you're designing an insignia, it needs to tell a story. Your insignia, like Hyundai, has a story. Like BMW, all these good brands. BMW was an aeroplane company. They used to make aircraft engines. So the thing that you see in the center is a propeller, right? So you need to have a story. Just don't make an insignia just like that, off the fly. You build a story behind your insignia. So brand story and sentiment, I added that. I'll talk more about it, what Armour Heavy typically is and what it means. Online domain listings, company listings, trademarks, core team players who will be extended team players, who will be core team players, the sourcing and merchandising, vendor tie-ups, manufacturing partnership, fabric sourcing partner, logistics partner, warehousing partner. Even though 100% of my business is digital, the back end is so complex. The vendor tie-ups are so complex. They just don't happen like that. But COVID, anytime somebody is failing, the world was failing, I took COVID as an opportunity to find the right people hyper locally around me, and I was successful. COVID actually gave me an opportunity to prepare a little more and prepare well. So I went to Sector 6, Sector 63 in Noida, where I am, and I found very good people. It was all this thing of mentoring these guys and molding them in my own vision of Armour Heavy. I went to one of these factories and they said, Rahulji, this can be done in an X fashion. I said, no, this cannot be done. This is made in India and this is proudly made in India. So I need to define it. You need to define it. What proudly India made. If there is a proudly made in India, it better be of that very solid quality. Otherwise, I don't want to talk to you. So I instilled my idea, the entrepreneur that I am, my idea into them. And I actually bought them and molded them in my idea of what proudly Make in India is. Because Make in India in today, if something is made in Germany, people say, oh, very expensive, but really quality driven. If something is made in Japan, people say it's really, really cost effective and very good quality. If something is made in Pakistan, there's no definition of something made in Pakistan. You know it. Made in Nepal, there is nothing. Made in China, cheap. And it will fail after 3 months. You know it. What is made in India? Made in India is nothing. You need to, as entrepreneurs, need to define what made in India is. I did it in my own influence of 5-6 people. But you have to influence those 5-6 people. What your product needs to tell, what is the product quality needs to be. So influence. As an entrepreneur, you need to be a very good leader. So influence those people. So quickly going to this, I think you guys must have read by now. Quickly going to what Armour Heavy is. Lot of thinking about tell a story of the brand, right? So let's talk about the story of my brand. It's basically a military term which is almost 100 years old. 100 years old. And it is given to a fighting force which cannot be defeated, which is undefeatable. And I said, being from the Armored Corps myself, I said, Armour Heavy is a very good name. And I then quickly went to GoDaddy and I said, let me at least buy this. And hold and behold, armourheavy.com. So entrepreneurs, note one very golden nugget. If you want to name a company and if you want to make a brand, it cannot be .in, it cannot be .us, it has to be .com. If you are not holding the rights of a .com domain name, Please don't take it. I bought .com, I bought .in, all the Armour Heavies .xyz, I tried to buy them because I wanted to secure this domain name. So anytime you are going to buy a domain name, secure it properly. Just by trademarking it will not help. You have to secure it, because tomorrow there'll be a guy who will say that armorheavy.china. वो भी बिकता है आजकल. So you need to secure it. So what I did is I prepared a storyline, just like a BMW did. I prepared a storyline. Armour Heavy has a story now. If you want to read more, it's available on the website, armorheavy.com. Then I did some dipstick into the market sizing. What is the market sizing all about? And the market size is phenomenally big. $80 billion in India alone. $800 billion world market. Huge market. And I am so small in this market, so small. Even if I capture 0.001%, I'll be very, very happy. And my vision, keep your vision very simple. My vision for my brand is that 3 years from now, when a person, a college graduate, is looking for a t-shirt with Nike, with Adidas, he should also consider Armour Heavy, which is made in India 100%. Buttons, stitching, cloth, everything. That is the USP of the product. There are a lot of Indian brands that are still manufacturing in China. I hate it. As entrepreneurs, we also have a moral obligation of how we want to drive our business. So be moral. See the macro picture of how you are doing. Are you doing your business in a correct fashion, in a legit fashion? Is it impacting the country's economy in a positive way or a negative way? Be a moral entrepreneur. So having said about morality, I want to just manufacture and employ Indians, and my product is made in India 100% and sourced. Everything is made in India. And it is, by the way, best in quality. Better than Nike also. All right. Now let's talk about, I told you about the story behind my brand. I told you about the market segmentation. Now I started doing the brand architecture. Now, how does the brand architecture look for me, for Armour Heavy? This is the master logo, or should I call the descriptive logo? Because in the descriptive logo, I have the master brand, which is Armour Heavy, and then performance wear of what Armour Heavy is. Because I'm not Adidas, that people will know the moment they see me in one of the advertisements. So I need to qualify who I am. I'm a performance wear brand. So it's very important for you to have a descriptive logo also in your brand architecture. This is the brand architecture. Now, the second thing about the brand architecture is the Patriot Collection, which is the service lines that I was talking about, the services architecture, and over the services architecture, there's a brand architecture. So my brand architecture or the service line is a Patriot Collection. Now, what is Patriot Collection in Armour Heavy? Patriot Collection is all about giving home the people who served in 1942 collection. It's already there on my website. So that's to do with the Patriot Collection. And then I've got, like you see here, INA 42 tribute collection. And like that, I'll be taking out more tribute collections. Now let's talk about, I think the previous person spoke about how you need to shine in the social media. Now, if you yourself are weak, like when I launched, I had just 10 to 15, then I grew to 70 followers. Then I said that, look, I cannot do this alone. If I do this alone, I'll be spending a lot of money on boosting my post, doing Facebook ads. So I started partnering with influencers. And there are such good people in this market. And there are such competent people in the market. So I partnered with 20 sports influencers who are underdogs. You see in front of you, Amarjeet Singh. He is a national level cyclist. with a following of about 30,000 people. So it's a force multiplier effect for my brand. I partnered with Himanshi. She's a taekwondo, national taekwondo champion. And when I did a Zoom call with these 20 influencers, they're pretty excited that yes, we want to be part of this journey. And then after, hold and behold, after 3 months, my followers grew to 7,000 because I partnered with a lot of like-minded people. So it's a very important thing. The moment you are there in the market, if you are feeling that you are alone, partner with like-minded people. That's a golden nugget right there for you. Now, whenever you are in a digital game, force multiplier effect is really, really, really important. If you do not force multiply, you will be alone. And alone, no battles can be won. You will get tired very soon. So I said, all right, I will market my product in armorheavy.com, which I'm doing. I've listed in Myntra because they have a very, very hard negotiating kind of a process to get onboarded on Myntra. Flipkart is there, Ajio is there. So it's really critical to look not internally but externally for channel placement. And we are now talking about the 4 P's, and one of the very important P's is placement. So this is to do with placement of how I went out expanding my digital footprint and onboarding third-party players. And then of course the warehousing part, because I can't warehouse, I'm working from home. All the digital marketing is so very easy. If you know the game, you just require a phone and you just require a laptop. That's it. So that's the placement part. The promotion part, let's quickly see the promotion part. What am I doing? I am, for my website, I've onboarded influencers. I've got a blog. I'm doing direct marketing. Yes, direct marketing. A very important golden nugget is any entrepreneur going for online business, Facebook Business Manager. And I don't want to tell you more about Facebook Business Manager, but Facebook Business Manager is the kunji for success. Master today Facebook Business Manager. The moment you master Facebook Business Manager, you mastered the game of digital marketing. I'm telling you, that's the only thing you need to know. That's the digital shop that it'll automatically build for you. It's already there. You don't have to do any R&D on that. And Facebook and Instagram, by the way, are the same company. So once you are there on Business Manager, automatically your post will be getting promoted on Instagram also, right? It's not very easy to understand, but it's not very hard also. So you list yourself there as a business immediately. Then the whole game of search engine marketing and SEO. Now, typically when you are developing a website, the SEO part is already taken care of by these portals like Wix, etc. They tell you exactly what to do. So you don't have to rack your brains and know about the SEO game. The system will tell you how the SEO game typically works. All the meta tagging, all the concentrated words that Sangeeta ma'am spoke about. It's all there, already there. Just go and start learning, develop a website today. I don't want to promote Wix, but just develop a website there, or develop a website on Shopify, or all these other portals that are there, right? So you'll know how the SEO game typically works. Search engine marketing, very, very complex, very, very complex. If somebody thinks in this world they know search engine marketing, he's a fool. He's a fool. If you know, if he thinks that he knows, it's like a very, very complex, so to say, stock market. It's like a stock market. Every word is sold in the SEM game. Every the word testing, you won't believe. If you want to buy the word testing, and if somebody is writing testing on Google and they want to come on the top, it's the most expensive word, right? So it's like a satta. It's like a stock market. And who's leading the stock market? Mr. Google. They are making tons and loads of money, right? So think about SCM as not from people who are preachers. My student days are over. I sleep in webinars, so don't sleep on my webinar. That's not the preaching that I'm giving you, but my preaching, my learning days are over. I only preach things because I've done it. I've done it with my brand. I'm very confident that I've done it, and I'm actually on the right track with God's blessings. So take a golden nugget again. This is the third golden nugget I'm giving you. SCM, business manager, 100% know it. Number one. Number two is your Instagram game of how to promote posts. It's so very simple. Learn it. Third is force multiplier effect. You will not do alone. It has to be done by people, like-minded people who are there, and find the like-minded people on Instagram. That's how you'll do it, right? And please go to Armour Heavy and look for some good apparels. Being a marketer, it's my responsibility to tell you. I can't stop myself, and being an entrepreneur, it's a great product. Buy it. Sangeeta ma'am,